Bauer in DC program takes 4 students from the Bauer College of Business, and they get to live and work in Washington, DC while taking classes.
So personally, I got to intern at the Financial Services Roundtable as a government affairs intern.
I got to work with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce within education and workforce policy as a programming communications intern.
I worked at Points of Light, which is based in Atlanta, but the Washington, D.C. office is home to a Billion Plus Change, which is the department I worked for.
You get to go and see how government relates with business, and that's what I wanted to do. I'm actually studying the Global Energy Management track, so I wanted to see how the oil and gas industry works with, government regulations. So part of my internship, I got to intern at Smiths Group.
Going to DC was the first time I ever was away from Houston for such a long time frame. It was challenging at first to get used to the environment in DC because it's very different from Houston. So I learned to be more open-minded. I feel more confident in myself to be more independent and be able to take care of myself.
The unique thing about this experience is I had the chance to actually work full-time, 9 to 5, 5 days a week, overtime if needed, whatever had to be done to get the job done, and still work towards my degree while working full-time and getting that exposure.
Being a full-time student and also having a full-time job was definitely challenging, but challenging in a good way that would develop me for my future endeavors.
I learned a lot about communication, networking, and analyzing. It was a really great experience.
Well, the most important thing that I learned while being in DC is to always give it your best at anything you do, whether it was the small things or the big things, and it'll pay back at the end.
One of the things I learned in my time in DC was teamwork. So I learned how to take feedback. A lot of my coworkers in meetings, we'd spring ideas off of each other, and sometimes those ideas weren't always as great as you think in your head. I was so impressed by the way they gave me the feedback. I didn't feel like I'd been pushed to the ground. I felt like, okay, now I know where I can go look better for this.
Having this real world experience was beneficial to me because I got to learn how to be very quick at responses. If our boss asks for it, what's the progress on it, what's happening, we have to have answers. Or we have to have, we're working on it. So it's very fast paced. You have to be open to technical questions as well as political questions on the spot.
So moving forward, I know that this experience is already benefiting me. I've changed personally. I've obtained more networking skills. I feel more confident. It was an empowering experience, and at the same time, it's a very humbling experience to know that you're sitting next to a CEO from a big company.
The reason this experience has been once in a lifetime for me is that I've been able to use this in any interviews I have coming up, any career-oriented path I have moving forward. This experience will always come up.
So going to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, being a management information systems major, I already had the mindset that I wasn't going to be doing specifically IT, but I was open-minded to the opportunity to try something different and learning the connection between business and politics. So for next Bauer in DC interns, the biggest piece of advice I can give you is to definitely be open-minded. Try everything. There's so many different things to do in DC. It's such an amazing and fun experience.
Go explore. Go see everything. Don't be scared or don't be nervous that I'm meeting a senator or I'm meeting a congressman. Those 4 months will fly by so fast. So make every day count.
Well, my advice for future interns is to be patient, passionate, and perseverant in every single thing they do. You're at the nation's capital, so soak it in as much as possible, and you're gonna have a great time.
I strongly encourage any Bauer student to apply to this program because not only will you see the nation's capital and tour and have the greatest time of your life, you'll also have an experience of a lifetime learning about how it is to work as an intern in Washington, D.C., which is a totally different aspect than working as an intern anywhere else.